Welcome everyone, and in today's video we're going to talk about another 10 passive income ideas to help you make money in 2023. I know a lot of people are trying to start a side hustle, to start something that actually going to benefit them and their primary income, and this is another list. I'm going to link down the list that I did previously a couple of months ago, which is the main list, and this is just another 10 passive income ideas. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let's get into the specifics. So the first idea is to rent out a parking space. And this is concerning those who actually own a parking space, or they can rent it out for long term and then sub-rent it to somebody else if that's, an option in their contracts and everything like that. Something to point out here is this might be a really good potential source of passive income, because if you live in an area where there's a lot of office buildings or event spaces, and around certain events, just on a daily basis, people might be interested into parking on something that is a little bit cheaper than parking, for example, inside a building or into the office space. Maybe there's no free or empty parking spaces in there as well. So this is something that is worth considering, especially if you already have one and you're not fully using it. Maybe you don't have a car, maybe you live in a different city. Keep in mind that this might be another potential source of passive income. Number 2 is REITs, which stands for Real Estate Investment Trusts. And this stands for companies who own and manage real estate. And this might be the first stepping stone, the first step you take into your real estate investment portfolio. But keep in mind that even though this diversifies, because those companies actually own a huge array of properties around in the country or an area, you're still investing into one company. So do your due diligence. I know you can actually buy EFTs that consist of dozens of REITs or REITs. I'm not sure if REITs is the right word, or REITs. They're actually EFTs that consist of dozens of REITs, and those can be a better diversification because you're lowering the probability of actually not being stuck in one company. If the company goes bankrupt, then you might not be able to get your money back. So this is something that is worth exploring. Do your research on that, and let's go to the next. Number 3 is a bond ladder. A bond ladder is a series of bonds that mature at different times over a period of years. And the staggered maturities actually allow you to lower down the probability of an investment risk, which is the risk of investing your money when the bonds offer too low of interest payments. And the bond ladder is something that is a classic passive income strategy that appeals to retirees and people that are further down in their life. It actually is a lower probability or lower risk as an investment, and also you can sit back and enjoy the ride and just reinvest the money, and when the bond matures you can just extend the ladder, rolling the principal into a new set of bonds. And keep in mind that only treasury bonds are backed by the federal government, and company bonds are not backed by anything. So if the company defaults, your money are at risk. So take that into consideration. A lot of people actually investing into ETF bonds, and that actually provides an array of different fund of bonds that you can set up into a ladder, and that actually eliminates the risk of a single bond hurting your returns. And this has been the bond ladder. Hope that actually makes sense. Let's go to the next. Number 4 is to flip retail products. And flipping retail products is pretty straightforward. It's just finding that arbitrage, finding those discounts in your area, in specific shops around you, maybe in your country, and reselling them for a profit on a different platform. Let's say buying something from your local TK Maxx and then reselling that on Amazon or eBay or on Etsy, depending on what exactly you're trying to sell. Keep in mind that this is not as passive as some of the other strategies and other passive income things that I discussed so far. This is more of a full-time job. Especially keep in mind that you might be stuck with a huge array of products and just quantities of products that you might not be able to sell, so you might make actual loss. So do your research, start playing around. If that actually interests you, start playing around with a small amount of products, maybe the products that you see that are selling in specific markets, and do your research. This is just the short list. I'm not going to go into specific details. Let me know if you actually want to get more ideas for me to delve into that specific topic, let me know down below in the comments, and let's go to the next. Number 5 is to invest in high yield CD or savings accounts. This is another concept that is easy to understand and simple enough for everyone to understand, as we might be going into a potential recession around the world, in Europe, in the US, and pretty much everywhere based on what is happening nearby. The banks are actually increasing their percentage and their interest rates. So this might be a possibility for you to just move your money from your deposit account into a savings account that actually might yield a higher return and without actually you doing anything. So this might be there might be opportunity for you to see specific banks. Keep in mind that there are limits to the security of the bank which the specific national or international bank is securing. So let's say, I think in the US it's up to $250,000, and that is different for each country, so do your research on that. But keep in mind that if the bank defaults, you need to be saved up to a specific amount by the national or federal bank or on the European bank. So there are various numbers of banks, so do your research, see where there might be a possibility for you to move your money into a savings account so you actually start earning without you actively participating into reinvestments, so the money are growing without any hassle from your side. Let's go to the next. Number 6 is to rent out your home short term. And renting out your home might not be something that you're willing to do, so that is specific to the persona and to who you are in life. And it might be a possibility for you to just list it on Airbnb or to a different platform, a different service where people are booking your place, especially if you're not going to be there, and you might be able to return the mortgage payments through a couple of weeks of renting in the summer, let's say, depending on where your property is. This needs to be researched a little bit further because you might be able to have an insurance on your home if something goes missing or if something gets broken. So a lot of people are going to your property if you're willing to do that as a strategy, but it still possesses a good amount of resource, especially if you're in a city where there are a lot of tourists coming from different places around the world. So you might be able to take advantage of that when you're going on a vacation, so the people coming into your apartment might be able to pay for that vacation wherever you're going. Number 7 is to advertise on your car. And this is something I haven't actually seen, but I know things are different in the US and you need to do your research, and there are specific advertising agencies that are actually going to pay you to put a sticker to brand your car, so every time you drive around the town you're advertising the specific brand that you agreed on. Keep in mind that this might be able to cover your costs on your car or your lease, so there's definitely a potential in this, depending on how you feel driving around in a branded car. I would say it's worth exploring, especially if you don't really care about how you're being perceived by other people. You just want to cover your expenses around your car. So that might be a good option. Keep in mind that the companies are potentially going to check on your driving license records and to see if you have any accidents, so you need to have a clean driver's license. And also they might be able to ask you for them to track how far or how long you take your car on a daily basis, and in order for you to calculate how much money you need to be paid for that service. Do your research when finding that company, that advertising agency, and go with your gut feeling whether that's something that is legit or is a scam and they're trying to put you into a specific contract that actually might make you even worse off in a particular situation. But that's it for advertising on your car. Let's go to the next. Number 8 is to buy crowdfunded real estate. It sounds really interesting. On every single topic, do your research. This is not a financial advice. This is just my thoughts and my ideas that I came up with based on the specifics in the different markets. So crowdfunded real estate is super interesting because you're not investing into the thousands and the hundreds of thousands until you see the potential return on investment. It might be able to buy something that is on a super high demanded place, maybe in a tourist city, and you might not actually be able to afford something like that or to get that benefit of investing in something like that if it's not through a crowdfunding real estate investment platform. Do your research on the platforms. Keep in mind that the money might be stuck in that investment for a particular amount of time. You need to know that beforehand. So in order for you to diversify your portfolio, keep in mind that specific times that money are going to be locked up in a specific portfolios, in specific investments. You need to invest only the money that are not needed on your day-to-day basis, or in your business investments, or your business growth, in your household, and all the things surrounding that. So the investments normally should come from some money that you're willing to risk for a potential return. So don't expect, especially in the crowdfunded real estate, don't expect the money to be coming and for you to be taking them out whenever you want, like you do in stocks and ETFs. Number 9 is to rent out useful household items. This is relating to those high value items that you're not using on a day-to-day basis. So maybe you have skis, maybe you have tents, maybe you have a lawnmower that you're not using. So you can rent out through a specific platform, maybe through the community that you have, especially when you have kids and they're going through different stages of hobbies and interests. Maybe that's something that other parents in your neighborhood are willing to explore and try out before they go into purchasing big items, for example, for their own kids. That might be able for you to earn a passive income. Keep in mind that things might not go according to plan, things might be returned broken. So do your contracts, or through a specific platform, do the contracts and see whether they are liable for if something goes wrong with your item that you're renting out to them. This is just one example. There are so many different specifics. You can rent out, for example, your camera. Do your research, go into a little bit more into depth, see what you have in your home that you're not using on a day-to-day basis, or you haven't used for ages, and see if you can benefit from that. Maybe you can rent it out and get that income, that passive income from those activities. Let's go to the final one. Number 10 is peer-to-peer lending. And peer-to-peer loan is the personal loan made between you and the borrower, facilitated by a third-party intermediary, such as Prosper or Lending Club. And other players include Funding Circle, which targets businesses, and Payoff, which targets better credit risks. This might be an opportunity for you to earn another passive income through lending out money through a peer-to-peer platform. Do your research, do the research on the actual borrower, because if they are not willing to return the money, you need to be secured on that. You need to be thoughtful and due diligent on how things are happening, or what's going to happen if the money that you lent to someone else are not being returned to you through the platform, and maybe they have insurance in that. Personally, I haven't used it. I know, especially at prosper.com and Lending Club, the minimum investment is around $25. So you might be able to diversify your portfolio if you lend money to a variety of borrowers and then earn the interest instead of lending a large amount of money into a specific borrower. Keep in mind, this is also about building that relationship with a specific borrower. Maybe in the future you might be able to, lend more money to that specific borrower. Recessions might be able to make those investments a little bit worse off. So people might not be able to return the money that they borrowed from you. So they might default. Do your diligence, do your research, do the research on the specific platforms. Maybe you can rent out and start small and then multiply and invest more and more and more. Maybe you need to diversify with the 25 increments and start with 25 and start adding 25 on top of that, in terms of like a ladder. Test the waters, to test out and start small and test out how things are happening, how things are being invested. And the whole idea behind this is to keep reinvesting that money into a specific platform and continue lending, and those interests that you receive to continue to reinvest them and to increase the portfolio based on the peer-to-peer lending. Those have been the 10 passive income ideas to help you make money in 2023. Thanks a lot everyone for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate everyone's help and everyone that actually watched those videos. Let me know what you think about the video down below, because specific topics might need more clarification from me. There might be an opportunity for me to do a specific video on a specific topic. Thanks a lot everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. In order for you to diversify